Have you ever woken up from a dream and wondered, why is it that this seemingly random person just showed up in my dream last night? Maybe you feel angry at them, you feel really intrigued by them, you have a lot of love feelings for them, but it seems very strange why this specific individual is showing up. Maybe you haven't talked to them in 10 years, maybe you know them really well. What if I told you that this person showing up in the dream actually has nothing to do with them? Of course, sometimes when someone shows up in a dream, absolutely it has to do with them, with the relationship that you have. Maybe it's something from the past, something you're currently working through. We know this, and that's usually quite clear when that's what's happening in the dream. More on that another time. Sometimes when this doesn't have anything to do with the specific relationship that you have with this person, this individual is coming into the dream to act as a sort of messenger. This messenger is getting your attention in a specific way that someone else showing up wouldn't get from you. You hear what this person has to say in a very different way that hits differently than if it were someone else. I have two examples. So the first example is, let's say in waking life, you're working on a project that you're very excited about and you haven't really told that many people yet. You have a dream and someone that you highly admire, deeply respect, in the dream is telling you they hate your idea, they think it's terrible, there's no place for it in the world, and you should just quit. Hearing that person say that will hit very differently than someone else who, perhaps you don't really respect their opinion when it comes to these sort of things, or you just don't really care. So from this, we can get a few things. First, as a result of this dream, you've experienced some sort of criticism already. You've essentially had one of your harshest critics tell you they hate your idea and you shouldn't do it. And so this sort of creates almost like a callus or a bit of a hardening, because now you've had this essentially emotional experience of receiving this type of rejection, receiving this type of criticism. Perhaps after this dream, if you do put your idea out there, or when you put your idea out there, you'll be more receptive to actually constructive criticism or feedback that could really help you in the future. Or perhaps you're less shook by the haters or people who are just pushing negativity your way and you don't really have the same space for it. You've already essentially built this emotional resilience towards an opinion of someone you deeply value, disliking what it is you have to say. This emotional integration, if you've taken the time to work with your dream, could actually lead to more confidence in you putting things out there and giving you more solid ground so you're less shook by this type of negativity. Second, maybe it's actually not time for you to share this idea yet with a wider audience. Maybe you still feel really protective of your idea and you haven't taken the next steps to move it from a bigger picture to something kind of smaller, those little details. Perhaps now you realize, okay, I'm very susceptible to other people's opinions and I'm not at the part of the process yet of being open to receiving critical feedback that could actually help me. Instead, it'll shut me down and I'm not ready for that. So maybe at this stage of the process, it's best for you to either keep it to yourself and keep working, or share it with a trusted friend who sees your potential, sees beyond the very small details of criticizing what it is that you're doing. And until you get to that point, you may be more ready and more resilient to actually receive anything that's truly constructive, of course, not something that's just negative for the sake of being negative. Another very popular example is having a dream of hooking up with someone. Maybe this dream is with someone you know really well. Maybe it's with your ex. Perhaps it's with your friend's partner. Yes, of course, again, maybe you are interested in this person. Maybe you do want to hook up with them. We all know that. That can be very clear. But what about when that's not the case and you wake up feeling very confused and questioning where you're at or how you feel? Again, this person may be acting as a messenger. What is it that they evoke within you? What is it about how they live their life that you feel inspired by? How do you feel when you're in their presence, when you're having a platonic conversation? How is it that they see you, and what part of you feels like it's really showing up or being active in the relationship you have with this person? Maybe you really value their relationship to freedom or creativity, because creativity energy also resides in the sacral. Or maybe there's something you actually don't like about them at all. Perhaps this thing that you don't like about them, maybe you're repeating these patterns, or you're showing up with yourself or in your other relationships in this way. And it's kind of bringing a mirror to how you're behaving or thinking or feeling that doesn't align with where you're at anymore or right now. And it's the perfect opportunity to face that and make some changes and be aware of how you're behaving or thinking. In the case of an ex, is there something about you at that time that maybe you miss, that you really loved about how you were in that period of life? Or again, the other situation. Maybe there's something about that time where you weren't so proud of how you behaved, or you have grown a lot from that period, but there's certain patterns that are showing up again that you'd really like to change. And having this ex show up could be highlighting those experiences for you. As you can see, these people are acting as messengers, evoking something specific in you that another person wouldn't be able to evoke or bring to your attention. This might change your perspective or bring something into your conscious awareness that's deeper than what it seems on the surface after having a dream, where your logical mind might start to spiral or start to attach onto various ideas. But looking deeper, you can really get a bigger picture of what's actually going on. I can go on and on about this topic alone, so if you have any questions, I would love to answer them and address them. Thanks so much for watching.